Hi everybody, we're going to do some styling. Today we're looking at this suit. It's part of the new collection. It is a very interesting fabric. This is Dorme's vintage Sportex. So way back in the day, there used to be this fabric called Sportex, and it was like a very textured, heavy fabric for casual pursuits, country pursuits, and Dorme has resurrected it for the modern day. Lighter than it used to be, less texture than it used to be, but still very beautiful, and still more texture than really the typical suiting cloth you might find. It always has this very nice melange effect, you know, where it really kind of waves in and out from gray to white to black and back again. In fact, we have coined a term for this sort of thing. We call it the TV effect. So it's a little bit like fuzzy TV static, but I love it. You know, when it comes to gray suits, I always think that gray suits that have just like a little bit more texture, a little bit more visual interest are a little more interesting. So what can we put with this today? I'm going to start with something easy. We just got new ties from Sevenfold as well. And so I wanted to show you some of the new ties along with this stuff. Let's just start with something easy. White Oxford shirt. You know, with a gray suit, obviously black ties are one of the first things that come to mind. What I really like about having this sort of TV static gray is that the black stands out so much more than if this was a flat gray. You know, I think that's a really simple, lovely color combination, and you could put it with something like that, just a black calf loafer, and you're done, right? But why don't we look at some more interesting options as well? This is lovely, and it adds a little bit more color into the whole thing. Block stripe in shades of green, sage, and black. And you know, like with this soft texture in the tie, I like the idea of that with brown suede Oxfords like that. That's right, black suede Oxfords like that. I think that's really lovely. In fact, with this really unusual tie, you could also consider introducing, this is new for the season, ecru. You know, then you have a little bit more of a tonal look. And you know what's interesting about putting the ecru with this TV static gray is that it just makes the gray tend a little bit more towards yellow. Like your eye starts to believe it's actually a little bit more close to yellow than to gray. And you could use brown suede loafers just to keep that tone-on-tone theme going. Now, we got a great chambray shirt that I want to show you with this right here. This particular chambray shirt, it's an Isaac shirt, which is our made in Japan American style shirts. This particular one also has a contrast stitch, which I really like. Obviously this is now making the whole thing quite a bit more casual, but I think you can still wear it with a tie. I've got two suggestions here. One is this, you know, like sort of unexpected, quite a bit of sheen and shine to it, but I like how chunky this houndstooth pattern is against the TV static gray and the chambray. That's one option. Or I love this printed lightweight silk, you know, a very sort of vintage effect. And I think that goes really well with the Isaac shirt. And shoe-wise, with the chambray, I really like the idea of a grained loafer like that. I think that looks awesome together. Okay, last thing, let's say you don't want to wear a tie, let's say you don't want to wear a shirt. Black polo. And you know, the nice thing about the black polo is, like that black silk tie we had earlier, when you put those things together, you really can let that black stand out against the TV static gray. With this, I would probably use black calf, maybe black suede, you know, but as you wish. So, would love to hear what you think about these combinations. If you have any other suggestions, please let us know. We'd love to hear it in the comments. And all this stuff, new collection, in-store and online. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.